All right, good afternoon. Happy Labor Day. Hope it's nice and chill, relaxing day for everybody. All right, we're gonna get going on our backs. Okay, so let's just start. Feet a little bit wider, knees come together to touch. And just roll it on back. So you want your knees to be touching, so you may not be able to walk your foot all the way out to mat distance apart, but the feet are gonna be pretty wide. Just take a breath or two. Go and rest the hands on the stomach and the chest. Big breath in through the nose. And big breath out through the nose. One more time. Big breath in. And out. And now let's hug those knees into the chest. Let's just give it a little rock from side to side. Okay, now we'll keep that right knee hugged in. Excuse me, that right, or the left leg extends out. So just give that knee a nice big squeeze up kind of towards that shoulder. We're gonna circle that knee out towards the side. The knee's gonna come away from us, bring it across the body, and then back towards that shoulder. So 2 more big circles. The last one. Now, with that knee out towards that shoulder, okay, you can bend into this left knee if you need to. We'll grab the outside edge of that foot, and then straighten out that left leg as we come into that half happy baby. So this right knee is pulling down right outside the shoulder, extending out through that leg a little bit more. One more breath. And then we'll release it. Take that knee across the body as we find that twist. And we'll bring it back up. Just go ahead and bend that left knee. Right ankle goes right across it. Grabbing onto that hamstring or maybe reaching for that shin. Tailbone pulls down as we hug that knee in a little bit closer to the body. And go ahead and release it. Switch sides. So left knee hugs in, right leg just extends out. And we'll make that big circle with that knee. So bring it out towards the shoulder, out to the side, down, and then across. We'll stretch the outer hip. Maybe bring it around. One more big circle. And then we'll bring it by, or bring it towards that shoulder. And then we'll reach for that outside edge of the foot, that half happy baby. Bringing that bottom of the foot, making its way to pointing up towards the ceiling. Pulling that knee down towards the mat. Extending out that leg a little bit more. And then go ahead and release. That right hand is going to draw that knee across. Left arm reaches out. A nice gentle twist. Now bring that knee back up. Bending into that right knee. Ankle goes across that thigh as we hug that left or the right knee in, tailbone down. Go ahead and release and uncross it. Hug the knees in. Let's rock forward and back. And then we'll come onto those hands and knees. So just roll over onto those shins, or just the easiest path to it. And we'll move into those cat-cows. So really spread those fingers out, pressing into those palms, the fingertips. On that inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone as we look up. And exhale, we'll round the spine, press the shoulder blades away, draw that belly up, and then tuck that chin. And inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone as we look up. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, round. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. And now bring it to neutral. Step those feet back into our plank. Let's hold it for another breath. And then exhale, send those hips up and back. That inverted V, that downward facing dog. And then we'll come onto the toes. Bend those knees, step those feet all the way up to the top of the mat. Bring those hands to the shins. Flatten out that back. And then slide those hands down as we fold. Just let that head hang heavy for a moment. Big stretch to those hamstrings. And then we'll bend into those knees. Flatten out that back. Let's rise all the way up to standing. Reach it up tall. Side stretch over to the right. And back up. Over to the left. You bring it back up. And then reach down for that forward fold. Now, hands on the ground, flatten out that back. Big step back with that left leg. Lower the toes down into that lunge. Then we're going to twist. Right arm reaches up. Lower that hand down. Step it back to a plank. Lower. So you can go all the way down to the stomach. Point the toes. Roll the shoulders down and back. Lift up. So maybe coming into that cobra, or you can press up to that up dog. So a little more stretch through the abs, the hip flexors. And then exhale. Send those hips back. Downward facing dog. Now we're going to step left foot outside that left hand. So a little bit wider lunge stance. So that lizard lunge. Hold it here. So back leg is really strong. That knee is pulling away from the mat. Now bend that back knee. Step both those feet out, the outside of the hands. Sinking those hips down, lifting through that chest, coming into that squat. So the knees are pressing out, back is nice and flat. This is a little bit too low. You can always lift those hips up a little bit higher. Okay, up to you. One more breath. Good, then press on out of it. Stand up, turn those feet parallel to each other, reach the arms up tall. Let's do that side bend over to the right side. Inhale it back up, over to that left side. Inhale, reach it up, and exhale, fold. Flatten out that back. So we'll switch sides. Right leg is going to take that big step back into that lunge. Plant that right hand as we twist. Left arm reaches up. And lower that hand down. Step it back to a plank. Lower down. Inhale. Your choice, lifting cobra, up dog. And exhaling those hips up and back, downward facing dog. Now let's step that right foot outside that right hand. Really strong through that back leg. So think about pressing the hips down as that knee is pulling away. Seems kind of counterintuitive. I just don't want the knee collapsing down. I want that leg really strong. And the hips pressed down, we get more of a stretch through that hip flexor. One more breath. And then we'll step that left foot outside that left hand. Sink those hips down, chest is lifting. And breathe. Press on out of it. Reach those arms up. And walk those feet a little close together. Side stretch to the right. Inhale it up. to the left. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, fold. Find that flat back. Let's repeat it one more time. Big step back with the left foot, twisting. Right arm reaches up. Lower that hand down. Step it on back to our plank. Lower. Inhale, lift that chest. And exhaling those hips to the sky, downward facing dog. We'll step that left foot outside the left hand. Pause it here for a breath. And then we'll step that right foot outside the right hand. Sink those hips down into that squat. And press, rise on out of it. Reach up tall. Side stretch to the right. Inhale it back up to the left. Inhale, reach it up tall. Exhale, fold. You're finding that flat back. Let's step the right leg back. Plant the right hand, twisting. Left arm reaches up. Lower that hand down. Step it on back to our plank. Down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hips up, downward facing dog. Now we're going to step that right foot outside that right hand. Hold here. Now let's step that left foot outside the left hand. Lower those hips down. Good. Pause here, breathe. A little more active with this. So if you're the lowest position you can hit, let's go an inch higher than that. It's a little more active with those legs. Now we're going to extend that right hand down towards the ground. Left arm is going to reach up, open up, gazing towards that left hand, that left thumb. And then switch the left hand down to the ground. Right arm reaches up. And lower both hands down. Straighten those legs as we fold. And now bend into those knees, flatten out that back. Let's come up to standing. Get a little quad stretch and a little balance. Okay, so draw that right knee just up towards the chest. Hands can be on the hips or at heart center. Pause it here. Really strong through this left leg. Lift that knee up a little higher. Now we're going to reach for that foot. Draw the knees together first. Rib cage down. Tailbone is scooping down. So you'll already start to feel that stretch through that quad. Well, I am, but my quads are super tight. And then from there, press that foot back into the hand. Stay really tight through that torso, through the core. And just pressing that foot really actively into the hand. And go ahead and release that foot down. Let's switch sides. So weight's in the right foot. That left knee rises up. Hold the knee up towards the chest, flexing that foot. Now start to bring that foot back, reaching, grabbing onto the top of the foot. Knees together first, rib cage down, core is tight, tailbone scoops down. And then start to press that foot back into the hand. Pressing that foot back, staying tall. About squeezing your left glute, your left butt cheek a little bit more. Gives you a little bit more extension through that quad, through that hip flexor. And release that foot down. Reach those arms up overhead. So we're going to press those hips forward. Arms are reaching back. So think we don't want to just be arching through the low back. We want to press the hips forward as well. Same idea. We want to keep that core really tight as we do this. Now, exhale, flat back as we fold. Maybe find that half lift, hands to the shins. And then exhale, slide the hands down. So with arms, the head heavy. Let's give it a little shake yes with that head. And now bend into those knees. Let's come back to standing. Arm stretch now. So left arm is going to come across the body. The right hand is hooking kind of right by the right below the elbow. Pulling that shoulder down and back. So we don't want it hiked up. We want to pull it down. So kind of stay in line with the rest of the torso, the rest of the shoulder. One more breath. Let's switch sides. That right arm's going to come across. And so just hooking that left arm right below the elbow, and then pull that shoulder down. So we feel that stretch. Maybe even the back of the shoulder, the back of the arm. Go ahead and release it. Interlace those fingers behind the back, big opening through that chest. And you can release those arms up overhead. Let's bend into that left elbow like you're patting yourself on the back. Head presses back. The rib cage pulls down. So staying tall. Let's find that gentle side bend over to that right side. And bring it back up. Let's switch sides, bending into that right elbow. Press the head back. Re-engage that core. Let's find that side bend over to that left side. Bring it back up. You can draw those elbows down. Open it up. Now we're gonna bring those arms out to a T. So I'll mirror you guys. Your left arm is gonna come underneath the right. Give yourself a hug first. So maybe grabbing onto, now it's hard to tell, but the backs of the shoulder blades and that knife edge of the shoulder blades. Now, backs of the hands can come together, or you can even cross it again so those palms come together. Now draw those elbows up, hands come away. And release it, other side. So grab onto those shoulders first, backs of the hands together, palms come together if you're there, and then lift those elbows up, and then hands come away. Let's go ahead and release those arms up overhead, interlace those fingers, point those palms up, then we'll find that side bend over to your right side. Inhale, bring it back up, over to that left side. Bring it back up, then release those hands as we find that forward fold, walking those feet a little bit wider, about mat distance apart. Flat back on the inhale, exhale, fold. And now toes out, heels in, sink those hips down into that squat. And so wherever your lowest position is, let's go up like an inch higher. Again, we'll lower that right hand down towards the mat, left arm reaches up. And switch sides, left hand lowers down, right arm reaches up. Okay, now pause here in this squat. And straighten those legs, and find that forward fold. And now plant those hands down. Go ahead and step it back to our plank. Lower down. Inhale, lift. And exhaling those hips back, down dog. And then from here, go ahead and just lower onto those knees. The knees can come a little bit wider, toes together. Sink those hips back to the heels, resting that head down. Just coming into that child's pose. Softening that chest down towards the mat, reaching out long through those fingers. Let's come back onto those hands, knees, step it back to plank, hips up, down dog. And let's step that right foot outside that right hand, lower that back knee down, chest pulls forward. And when you're ready, lower down onto those forearms, pulling that chest forward, nice flat back. Come back to those hands. Let's switch sides. Step that left foot outside that left hand. That knee lowers. Lower onto those forearms. And then come back to those hands. Let's step it back to a down dog. Pause here. And let's lower onto those knees. Come into that cross-legged seated position. Just let those palms rest on the knees. Roll those shoulders down and back. Closing down those eyes. Just a few breaths here. Just in and out through the nose. Nice and slow and controlled with those breaths. Blink those eyes open. Thank you guys so much. Again, have a great rest of your day. We do have yoga tonight at 4:45. So if you're interested in that, I'll be here. But otherwise, have a good holiday.